Hello everybody and welcome to episode 11 of All the Mod 7 to the Sky. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing okay. In the last episode I checked out new Autocraft for the first time in this mod pack, and for the first time in a very long time I've actually played new Autocraft. I built this assembly controller to produce the PCBs from new Autocraft. Pressure chamber is fully set up to do autocrafting through applied energistics, along with passive lubricant production and plastic. And look at this monstrosity. This is all to make this electric air compressor run and stay cool. In today's episode though, one of the things which is actually required to progress any further is going to be stellar arcanium. That easily, except for setting up one of these builders inside the other. You know what, scratch that, I'm using this digital miner. It's so much easier to get these, the stellarite, and it does spawn in the Twilight Forest. So today I learned that the other dimension prevents quarries from being used in it. Good to know. Now it's time to craft one of these Eternal Stellars. This is required to make the Eternal Obsidian Skull, I think is what it's called. This used 3 X-Petrified orbs plus one of the stellar pieces, which I mined using the digital miner. Combining this in a smithing table with an obsidian skull will produce an Eternal Obsidian Skull. Now it's time to send the craft for the Improbable probability device. I have everything to make it. It's going to be 2,000 bytes to be able to store everything for this, but that's okay. I'm sure that this is going to take a little bit of time to craft. While I'm waiting for the Improbable probability device to actually craft, I'm going to set up automation for one of these barrels from Exnilio. This will just allow me to actually start requesting bulk clay and other various things which can only be made in this barrel. There you go, passive clay production. I'm also going to need to set up automation with the Alchemy catalyst on a mana pool. This is so that I can actually start making red sand through terracotta. Thanks to the clay production which I have now, terracotta is completely passive. The last thing is to start getting Blackstone on passive. Right, that should get this one running on Blackstone. Blackstone is only required for this Dimensional Seed. I'm not using it for base building or anything, so just having that set up slowly, I don't mind it being that. And I'm also waiting for the clay, and then I'll be able to actually make another item for the All Mod Star, the Dimensional Seed. I could also set up a recipe for the Master, the Creative Essence, I mean. Creative Essence is going to be set up similar to how I have all of the other essences and the alchemical coal set up. So I have the infusion crystal over in the right here. I'll fill the rest of the slots in here with cobblestone just so that it doesn't overfill. Then the pattern for this is going to be 1 creative essence along with 4 insanium blocks and 4 insanium gemstone blocks. Alright, let's craft one of the creative essence. It's 114,000 Inferium essence per creative essence. That's going to also take a pretty long time to craft. Let's also work on the Patrick Star because I'm going to need this set up for auto crafting purposes. And the way I see things, if I'm going to need, like, how many of these mechanical crafters do I need? 55. I might as well set up so that I can auto craft all of them. So the first machine which I'm going to set up for auto crafting is deploying. Okay, so this should be the automation for the deployer. The logistical sorter will send brass ingots into this deployer. Then it will also send the stripped oak log into this depot, which I'm just going to set this so that it only whitelists the brass casing for an output. So I am going to have to set up a filter for the extraction of this depot, but that's the only thing which I need to do. Oh, alongside the filters for the logistical sorter. In hindsight, I could have automated this a tiny bit better than what I've currently done. This is post-editing Jude here, just showing how better of an automation I could have actually set up for this. So I'm currently using these logistical sorters along with the ultimate logistical transporters. These have been filtered to only allow specific items inside this depot. Instead of doing this, I propose I use an interface on this pattern provider. I will then set this ME pattern provider to lock the crafting until primary crafting result is returned. Then I'll be using storage buses to actually filter the input items. So for the depot, I need the stripped oak log. For the deployer, I need the brass ingots. Then all this ME system, this subnet needs as power. Then anything which gets returned is going to return straight back into the pattern provider anyway. So in theory, if I request 16 brass casings, it won't oversend. Man, I wish I had have thought of this sooner. The ability to lock crafting until primary crafting result is returned is amazing. Absolutely brilliant for this type of automation. For rotational energy for this, I'm going to be using these steam engines, similar to what I have in the tree farm, or underneath the tree farm. And these steam engines are really easy to set up, especially to set them up completely passively. All you need is one of these campfires underneath. That should start heating this boiler, so it's easily expandable. Then all I need is just an infinite water source going into these tanks. Then that should immediately start producing rotational energy. Remember the way to speed these up: big gear to a little gear. Look at this deployer. Instantly started working. Now it's time to set up the mechanical crafters to be able to craft the Patrick Star and eventually the All the Mods Star. And looking at the recipe for this is going to be a very big multi-block for the mechanical crafters. So I'm going to want to make sure that this is all within at least one chunk. Well, that's the star multi-block. I next need to rotate all of these so that the items actually flow into the center of this. Rotating them is as easy as just using this wrench on them. It has to be the create wrench. Yeah, this is going to be, this is big. I'm also going to be using these storage buses to be able to actually autocraft with these. So let's add them to all of these mechanical crafters. Yeah, that's a lot of them. 55 to be exact. Oh, that is a good sight for this. What does everyone think of this for the automation? Okay, well, this is quite an intense subnet for this, but this will work. So I just need to set the filters for the Patrick Star. It would not surprise me if I've managed to set one of these filters incorrectly, because it's so many filters to actually set. I also don't know what this is going to do when I actually request the autocraft. Before I do the autocraft, I'm going to have to get rotational power to these. Right, I think I'm ready to request something from this. Have I set one of the filters incorrectly? That's going to be the test of this. Ooh, okay. So I'm guessing the pattern doesn't have enough of the concrete set in it. No, what's going on here? It's a channel issue. Okay, well, it's doing something. I can hear it crafting. Is it gonna make it? Oh my, it actually is. That is beautiful. So a small thing which I need to do is just have this output from the barrel. And this needs to go back inside this pattern provider to actually unlock this. That's the Patrick Star. Honestly, I'm holding Patrick Star in my hand. Lovely. It's the first time me making this actually. And it is on autocraft. I can literally autocraft this. Let's watch it again and watch the success of it autocrafting. I'm also going to request one of these pulsating black holes, since this is required. It just needs one of these quantum catchers, which I can get this. I just need to look for a spawner. And what better place to find a spawner than looking in the nether for a spawner, a blaze spawner. Combining in a smithing table with arcane crystal blocks, quantum catchers, which should mean pulsating black hole. Oh, that also costs an antimatter pellet. I've only just witnessed that. Yeah, that was quite fast to make this. We're making quite good progression, actually. So we now have pulsating black hole. So I'm going to focus on making this wither's compass. That's going to need one of these glyph of the withers. Craft one of these glyph of the withers, I'm going to need a scribe table. The abjuration essence is made in the imbuement chamber with a fermented spider eye, sugar, and a bucket of milk. Okay, so I'm going to need to upgrade my spellbook to actually be able to make this glyph. I can make the tier 2 spellbook pretty easily, but to actually get the tier 3, I'm going to need to explore 2 separate things to actually get this. I need a Totem of Undying and a Wilden Tribute. Yeah, to actually get the tier 3 summoning book, I'm going to need to start by growing one of these Vexing Archwood saplings. I need the Vexing Archwood logs to be able to make one of these Tablet of Summoned Wilden. And to get the Wilden spikes, which I need for this ritual, I'm going to be using one of these ritual braziers. Supposedly if I click that, that should start summoning the Wildens. And it should summon, yeah, it's summoning Wildens from all different types. And the thing which I'm after is one of these Wilden spikes. And to summon this Wilden Chimera, I need this Tablet of Summoned Wilden. If I click on that, then drop these. That should now summon the Wilden, and it is a boss, so let's see how this goes. Okay, it's destroying blocks. Man, it destroyed a lot of blocks, didn't it? Interesting. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that was actually quite a short fight, but I did get the Wilden Tribute, which is what I need. I guess having an unobtainium sword really makes boss fighting a lot easier. I'm also going to need a Totem of Undying.
You should choose your words more carefully.
And I know just the place to get evokers. Ah, here we go. That's an evoker. Yeah, they spawn in the other. If you're wondering how you actually get that in a skyblock, they spawn here. Oh, I literally just got a Totem of Undying. You know what? That's all we need. We just need one of them. This should mean tier 3 Archmage. It's the Archmage spellbook. This should actually allow me to produce the Wither rune, the Glyph of Wither. That should be the correct glyph. There we go. That's pretty cool, actually. Never used this in Age Nouveau before. Okay, this should mean that I should be able to request the Wither Compass. If I had 9 pieces of antimatter, that's expensive. I need to up my antimatter production. To increase the antimatter production, I'm going to completely rebuild the nuclear fuel processing plant, is what I'm calling it, so that I can actually expand this a lot easier without having to set filters for every single one of these, because that's proving quite a nightmare at the moment. Okay, that's back up and running, everything is. All of the nuclear fuel, and I built it in a way so that I don't need to filter anything. all I need to do is expand this vertically and everything will be okay. I'm going to upgrade up the burn rate for this reactor. I'm going to need to add some extra control rods to be able to do this though. Yeah, the amount of antimatter which I actually need to make at least one of these all the mod stars is just an insane amount. Well, it's an insane amount considering how slow I'm currently producing it at like 0.002 millibuckets per tick. That's pretty terrible. The least I can do is upgrade it and at least quadruple that, so it'll be 0.008 millibuckets per tick, and then I will basically just leave the server running for a while. Well, it's quite fun upgrading the reactor. That's going to store a whole lot more fissile fuel. I want to do 128 millibuckets per tick. Probably going to run out of coolant. Okay, so I'm going to need to increase, by the looks of it, how much water can currently be extracted from this tank. And so it begins. I ended up deciding to actually just completely tear down this tank and build it completely bigger. To put it in context for how much fluid I need to be extracted from this tank, I need at least 2.6 million millibuckets per tick of water to be extracted. I ended up rounding it up, so it ended up being 100 mechanical pipes with 100 valves to extract 3.2 million millibuckets per tick of water. That's enough for this reactor now, and it won't ever run out of coolant. And I can still use this buffer tank as a failsafe. I also decided to swap to fluid P2Ps instead of the interfaces, as they have, I think, an infinite fluid transfer rate. Okay. After installing an extra 6, their chemical oxidizers and PLCs, I'm now producing enough fissile fuel to actually keep this reactor running flat out. Yeah, this fission reactor is insane now. It's 128 millibuckets per tick, producing nearly just over 2.5 million millibuckets per tick of steam, 10 million RF per tick in the industrial turbine at that flow rate, and I've nearly maxed out this turbine. This is actually insane. And this is running flat out, which means that I can 4 times this in theory. Now it's 0.01 millibuckets per tick, and I should have enough polonium production from the nuclear waste to keep up with that. Also, the new design for all of these buildings, I decided to tidy all of them, so there's no more holes in the floor. Storage buses are all coming through solid blocks. Every cable has a facade on it. It's completely clean. I'm also ready to craft one of these dimensional seeds. I have all of the materials available in the ME system now. Mainly clay, and the other one was basalt, I believe. Or Blackstone. Clay and Blackstone. Yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time to actually make. The dimensional seed, it's just a bunch of compressed blocks, 4x compressed blocks, so it'll take a little bit of time. There we go, dimensional seed. I'm now 4 items away from getting all the mod star, and since I'm waiting for a lot of things to actually start processing, I will sort out some Twilight Progression. The first boss I need to defeat is the Naga. It's pretty easy with the sword which I have. This will give me the Naga trophy and a bunch of other Naga related drops. The next one is to go and find a Lich. The Lich's tower is this thing. All we need to do is traverse to the top of there, so let's actually go through the inside and not mine through the top. Here's the Lich. To fight this one, we need to lock these pearls and destroy the Lich's shield before I can actually attack the Lich. As if I got killed from that. And you do need to lock these pearls back into the Lich to actually do damage to the Lich. Yeah, one shot. One death. One death to actually kill the Lich. I was going to say witch then. That'd be the Lich trophy, along with the quest. The next one in the list is to fight the Minotaur? The Ministroom. To fight the Ministroom so that I can get the Mighty Stroganoff soup. This is required to actually unlock the Fiery Swamp to fight the Hydra. To begin this, you need to look for this structure. It's a mound, and this will open up into basically a maze. We just need to explore through this until we get to the second layer. Oh, that was easy. Yeah, that only took a couple of minutes of exploring to find this. The second layer we go. Ah, here it is. The Ministroom. Still have ridiculously overpowered sword. Yeah, so meat stroganoff along with the trophy and various other loot from the Ministroom. Now all you need to do is eat this meat stroganoff and it will give you access to the fiery swamp. Without the meat stroganoff soup, I would not be able to enter this fiery swamp. It would end up setting me on fire and then I'd die. Ah, hello Hydra. Yeah, still pretty easy with this sword. Hydra trophy, Hydra trops, fiery blood, and various other loot. The next one is to search for one of these dark forests. I'm using a nature's compass to do that because I can. It's nice and easy to actually search for them. Yes, one of these. But before I go and attempt to take on Uargast, I need to go and defeat another mini-boss called the Night Phantom. This one is found in one of these, I think they're night ruins in the Twilight Forest. They also spawn inside the Dark Forest. I'm specifically searching for a trophy pedestal, so that I can place one of the trophy heads on there to gain access to this dungeon. And here it is. And this one is, by the looks of it, asking for a Lich trophy, judging by the artwork which is on the side of this pedestal. Okay, so this is the boss. That was easy. Oh, it's always easy with this sword. 233 attack damage. It really does make it easy. Right, Night Phantom trophy. This should also mean that the spell has been broken over the Dark Forest, so it should be easy to explore now. Yeah, I'm not in complete darkness, which is now going to lead me on to the Uargast Tower, the next boss in line. I just need to make my way to the top of this tower now, however long that's going to be. Oh yes, and then this one, yes, I'm starting to remember now. This requires keys to be able to enter, and they are found in each of these towers. So let's go and explore and find them keys. There it is, tower key number 1. Let's do the first one. Tower key number 2. Tower key number 3. Tower key number 4. The last and final key. Ready for the Uargast? I just need to navigate to the top of this tower now. Which shouldn't be too hard considering I have creative flight. Oh. Whoa, that is... Look at this thing. This is the Uargast. Okay. That was just easier to whack it with my sword. My increasingly overpowered sword. Right, Uargast trophy. Before I progress any more in the Twilight Forest and defeat the Snow Queen, I'm going to set up the automation for Tinker's Construct so that I can actually start crafting unobtainium allthemodium alloy blocks and unobtainium allthemodium alloy ingots. That's a mouthful. To actually produce the molten allthemodium and unobtainium, I'm going to be using this foundry. Since the foundry, as I remember it, prevents liquid merging when you actually craft through this, and to take fluids and insert items, I'm going to be using the Scorched Drain and Scorched Chute. The fuel for this also has to be this soul lava. At least for the unobtainium, the temperature is 9,000 degrees Celsius. The Ultramodium I could use Blazing Blood, but Soul Lava is definitely faster to use Soul Lava for the smelting speed. Let's test this first by crafting up one of these unobtainium Ultramodium alloy blocks and see if this will actually finish crafting it. Good, happy to see that the unobtainium blocks and the Ultramodium are only being filtered one at a time. The automation is finally working properly after a lot of fiddling with it. If any of you decide to automate this similar to how I have set this up, you need to have one of these tanks to actually store the fluid and then send it in this casting table. Set up the Soul Lava production, I'm heading to an ancient basalt deltas inside the other. This is where I can place one of these fluid laser drills to start producing Soul Lava, as long as I have Ultramodium unobtainium ingots to place instead of a lens inside the laser drill. To actually start producing Soul Lava using the fluid laser drills, you have to use Vibranium Ultramodium ingots as the laser focus, and they also have to be set between Y level 5 and 22 for it to actually start producing Soul Lava. There you go. All 9 of these going at once. This is a pretty awesome sight to behold. Casting 9 of these all together. And like I said, each unobtainium Ultramodium alloy ingots take a minute to craft, so I'm doing 9 at a time. So I'll effectively be able to make 1 block every minute, so this will only take just under half an hour to actually craft all of these. And while I'm waiting for the unobtainium Ultramodium alloy blocks, I will craft up one of these wither compasses. After waiting long enough, how long was it? About 24 hours of waiting, of leaving the server running, I have enough antimatter to actually craft this. So here we go, send. This one's also going to take a little bit of time to make. I'm also going to need 15 1x nether star blocks, so I can also send this craft and get them for the quest. That's the nether star blocks completed. Getting close now. 3 items away from being able to make this all the mod star. And the wither compass is done. Getting close now. 2 more things to make. Just the unobtainium Ultramodium alloy blocks. Then the Master of Oblivion, the Oblivion Shard, which requires the Snow Queen trophy. So this now leads me on to going to the Twilight Forest and defeating the Snow Queen, while I also wait for them unobtainium Ultramodium alloy blocks to finish crafting. So I'm looking for the Snow Yeti in the Twilight Forest. It spawns inside one of these places. Okay. Once again, the sword is ridiculously overpowered. Now I can go into the Twilight Glacier. Oh yeah, it's changed from snow to rain now. I can remember these Aurora blocks. Now I just need to get to the top of this tower, I believe. Here it is. Snow Queen. Yeah, one shot again. This sword, I love this sword. Yeah, this sword is brilliant. I want more swords which are ridiculously overpowered like this. Right, Snow Queen trophy. Does the Oblivion Shard use this trophy? That's my question. Yes, it does. So I'm going to have to fight at least 3 more. But that's the Oblivion Shard. I'm just waiting on these unobtainium Ultramodium alloy blocks. Here comes last one. Here they are. Last one. ATM Star time. I'm really surprised that I was actually able to get here though. Be able to actually make the mod star. Right, I've already set the filters for this, so it's just a case of requesting the ATM Star. Amazing. Being able to request this. It's going. Oh, this is a good moment for me. Here it comes. There it is. Our first ATM star. This is absolutely brilliant. And this is probably a good time to wrap up the episode now that I have actually crafted this ATM Star. This is going to be the last episode I make for All the Mod 7 to the Sky. I am happy that I've managed to reach the goal of the ATM Star, so I'm going to call this a win. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed watching as much as I've enjoyed playing, and I hope to see you all again some other time.